I am concerned about the rise of any group of hate. I don't like it. Any group of hate. I am, whether it's white supremacy, whether it's any other kind of supremacy, whether it's Antifa, whether it's any group of hate, I am very concerned about it, and I'll do something about it. No, I don't think my rhetoric has at all. I think my rhetoric is it brings people together.
In case it wasn't clear, this is Trump both-sidesing the El Paso shooting with Antifa on the day he's visiting El Paso to meet with grieving families. For those keeping count, a white supremacist killed 23 people just this weekend in El Paso. Antifa hasn't been responsible for a single death, ever. And look, it goes without saying that violence of any kind should be condemned. Literally no one is arguing with that. But to bring up Antifa in the same sentence as these white supremacists, who have been responsible for hundreds murdered and injured, is beyond inappropriate. These two camps aren't even in the same league, the same hemisphere when it comes to comparisons. To be clear, a staggering 73% of extremist murders from 2009 to 2018 were carried out by white supremacists and far-right extremists. 73%. Worse, this rhetoric creates a false equivalency that despite killing no one, somehow Antifa is just as bad as white supremacists, who are responsible for the vast majority of extremist crimes. Just mentioning them in the same sentence is enough to manipulate people into thinking that they're on the same plane when they aren't. And these false equivalencies are a common tactic for the GOP. Republicans tried to undermine the Black Lives Matter movement by pointing to high black-on-black crime rates, but the movement isn't about crime in general, it's about suffering at the hands of systemic racism. And that shows they're not operating in good faith. So they'll twist themselves and their arguments into pretzels to make everything fit into their agenda, to conform to their talking points. And this isn't even the first time we've heard Trump both sides an issue either. In Charlottesville in 2017, when neo-Nazis took to the streets and chanted, "Jews will not replace us," when 32-year-old activist Heather Heyer was killed after being hit by a car driven by a neo-Nazi, Trump went in front of the nation and suggested that there were very fine people on both sides.
Nazis started this. They showed up in Charlottesville. They showed up in Charlottesville to protest.
Excuse me, they didn't put themselves down as you. And you had some very bad people in that group. But you also had people that were very fine people on both sides.
And so it really shouldn't surprise us that the same guy who equated counter-protesters with neo-Nazis in Charlottesville just equated a white supremacist mass shooter in El Paso with a leftist group who's killed exactly no one. Because that's the side this president is on. He can't even condemn neo-Nazis, can't even condemn a white supremacist mass shooter who killed 23 on the day he's visiting the city in which it occurred without qualifying it to at least defend that side a little too. But the most telling part is that it's a testament to what Trump's position has been all along. He is responsible for the rhetoric that caused this attack. The El Paso shooter's manifesto reads like Trump's Twitter feed. In fact, the guy drove 10 hours to El Paso, Texas, a safe, Hispanic majority city whose very existence undermines Trump's talking points, fear-mongering about the dangers of immigrants. He did it to validate Trump's attacks. Well, El Paso can't be both majority Hispanic and safe. Trump says no way. Well, look how dangerous it is now. And so now, in the aftermath of this latest spate of attacks, of course Trump would take some tepid position. Of course he would deliver some vacant-eyed speech giving condolences to the city of Toledo, where no mass shooting occurred. Because not only does he not care enough to do anything about it, he was the cause. How much grief can we expect from the guy who derided immigrants as invaders for the last 2+ years? Trump invoking both sides isn't a little nod, a little consolation prize for white supremacists. No, this entire speech is a consolation prize for everyone else, because the full prize for him is, and always has been, for the white supremacists, the white nationalists, the guys invoking his name and parroting his rhetoric before slaughtering people en masse. And as long as he's sitting in the Oval Office, giving these evil people his tacit approval and doing less than nothing to stop them, attacks like these will continue.